Good evening. This is Pastor Andy Maxwell coming to you from my office in Forsyth United Methodist Church in Forsyth, Illinois. This past Sunday, December 10th, we lit the candle of peace. Churches around the world did the same thing. By some estimates, 99%, 99.6% of human history, we've had conflicts, we've had wars, we've had fighting in our world somewhere. Yet we long for the world that God created in the beginning, a world of peace and joy and love. The hymn writer Edmund Sears wrote in the fourth verse of his hymn, It Came Upon the Midnight Clear, speaking about the future when Christ shall come, when peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling. We basically long to get back to the Garden of Eden. Plenty of food, plenty of water, no fighting, no conflict, no hatred, no pain, no suffering. God promises to bring us that when Christ comes again. And then when Christ comes, he will rule upon the earth and nations will no longer train for war anymore. Jesus said in Matthew 5:9, Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. I love the way the King James puts that. So simple and yet so profound. Well, how, as followers of Christ, can we make peace in our nation, our world, our communities? Well, we may not have the opportunity to mediate between nations. Those are special skill sets, and few people are gifted at that level. We can begin right where we are. So, I have a few thoughts just to share with you. First, let's begin within ourselves. Let's ask God to point out anything in us that isn't right. Perhaps we're harboring old grudges, assumptions, judgmental attitudes, that type of thing. Perhaps we're allowing hateful words and thoughts to dwell in our minds. We need to ask God to cleanse those things out, ask His forgiveness for them. Because if we can't clean up our own lives, we can't help others clean their lives. We also need to begin in our own families. Conflicts have begun in families since the beginning of time when Cain killed his brother Abel in Genesis chapter 3. The Bible records conflicts between Jacob and Esau, between Joseph and his brothers. And even Jesus grew up in a dysfunctional family in that they wouldn't believe in him. One time they tried to take charge of him because they thought he was out of his mind. So, conflict within families has been around for thousands of years. And perhaps we get into so many conflicts there because we know each other too well. We know where all the skeletons are in the closet. We know what buttons to push to irritate one another. So we need to begin there by practicing forgiveness. Jesus taught us over and over again the importance of forgiving one another. It does not come automatically, it takes practice. And the more we practice it, the easier it will come and the better we will be at it. Now, forgiveness does not deny that there's been a wrong done, it acknowledges the wrong, but it chooses to love the other person and to not take retribution. So practice forgiveness. Begin in our own lives, in our own families, and practice forgiveness. Those are good steps towards peace. Another thing we can do is simply find good things to do. There's an old saying, it's not found in the Bible, so don't try to find it there, that says, idle hands are the devil's workshop and idle lips are his mouthpiece. The idea is that if we as human beings can't find something good to do, we'll find something bad to do. If we can't find something good to say, we will be tempted to say things we ought not say, things that are destructive and wrong. The Bible teaches us never get tired of doing good. You will find that in Galatians 6:9 and 2 Thessalonians 3:13. That we are saved to do good works that God has prepared ahead of time for us. Yes, we are saved by grace through faith. That's Ephesians 2:8 and 9. But Ephesians 2:10 teaches us that we are saved to do good works that God prepared for us ahead of time. Romans 12:21 teaches us not to be overcome with evil, but to overcome evil with good. And then finally, Jesus taught us over and over again, this especially comes out in the book of Matthew, that our good deeds will be rewarded by God as long as we didn't do them to be seen by others. Some people want everybody to notice their good deeds. And Jesus said that's all the reward they're going to get. Another area is to make room for others in the good activities that you create or provide. If it's good for you, why isn't it good for someone else? I remember in my hometown of Whitefish, Montana, we had a lot of little baseball leagues, and we had a swim team that I was involved with. I was also active in Cub Scouts and a couple of church youth groups. And the leaders were always seemed to make room for more people. Anybody who wanted to really be a part of the team or the group or the activity. And they were good and positive activities that kept us out of mischief and taught us how to get along with one another, taught us teamwork. And the leader always seemed to provide good guidance. Finally, draw close to God through Bible study, prayer, worship, and fellowship with other Christians. The closer you draw to God, the more of His character you will reflect. The closer you draw to God, the more of His goodness and peace will dwell within your own soul. And the more others will see that peace and goodness. You won't have to brag about it, they'll just see it. Well, I hope these thoughts have been helpful in some way. We may not be able to stop all the wars in the world, but we can draw closer to God, put into practice what He teaches us, and maybe help bring a little more peace into our homes and our communities. Until we meet again, may God bless you and keep you. May He make His face shine upon you and give you peace.